Hey guys, my name is Dan and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about England, which is not something I do too often on this channel. I don't try, I've kind of not really been talking about any national team for a while, even the Mexican national team. But this big news has just broken, and the fact that Fabrizio Romano, has announced it. England have not announced it yet, so it's not definite. But obviously, since Gareth Southgate's left, there's obviously been that interim Carsley guy. Obviously, he was just an interim. He's not going to be a full-time coach. And we've been on the lookout for a new coach, is basically what I'm trying to say. And it seems like we've selected Thomas Tuchel as the new England coach. And I've already been asked a couple of times today, actually, what I thought about it, what my opinion was. And I'm just put it here because I can only say the same answer so many times before it gets annoying. So I think I'll just leave it here. So yeah, look, it's going to be the third foreign coach to manage England ever. Obviously, Sven-Goran Eriksson and Fabio Capello, and I think he can do both of them. For me, I think he's a fantastic coach. He didn't have a great time in his last couple of jobs, obviously. But if you look beyond Bayern Munich, I think he's had a fantastic career as a manager. Obviously, he had a really good time in France. He had a really good time in Chelsea as well. Won the Champions League with them. So he's won pretty much everything. He's really highly thought of in regards to his ability as a manager. Everyone seems to think that he's one of the best coaches in world football. I think that still needs to remains to be seen. I honestly think that a national team is actually the step in the right direction for him. I think he's coached some of the biggest clubs in the world, except for Chelsea, and maybe it's a chance for him to kind of take a step back a little bit. National team jobs seem to be a little bit more easier in the sense that you're not preparing for games every single week. You don't, I think he's going to do really well for our squad. I think that he's going to get to know our squad really well. I think some of the players he already knows quite well anyway, and he's got a really good reputation with young players as well. I think Bukayo Saka is going to thrive under him, if I'm being brutally honest. So yeah, I think he's a fantastic coach. I think he could have walked into any national team in the world, to be honest with you. And I think he's blatantly more qualified to be England coach than Gareth Southgate ever was. Gareth Southgate talked a good game. He talked really well. He knew the right stuff to say. But his coaching ability is pretty poor. I mean, you can't really rely on Gareth to change the game with a substitution or change tactics. Tuchel's all about that. So I think we're going to start quite quickly seeing England play a little bit more pragmatic, but a little bit more structured as well. And his ability to change games, with, like I said, with a sub or whatever, I think it's going to come in important because that stuff matters in a knockout tournament. You can't just play the same time. I mean, that last World Cup we had, or last Euros we had, was poor. So from Gareth Southgate, he had a poor tournament. So yeah, I think it's a fantastic appointment, to be honest with you. I'm a bit surprised he didn't go for the USA job, if I'm being brutal. I would imagine that USA probably reached out to him, not just USA, but any other national team looking for a new coach. They ended up going with Pochettino, and I think that remains to be seen whether that's a good step or not, because I don't think Pochettino is as good as Tuchel, just by going on what they've won. So yeah, like I said, I think it's a really good move for him and for the England national team. For the England players, hopefully Ben White can come back in now. England have been crying out for decent right backs since Trent Alexander-Arnold's kind of been moved into the midfield. I don't know whether that's going to stay or whatever, but I'm looking forward to seeing what Tuchel does with the squad, in particular, what players he's going to call up in the next next international break. Probably in a week's time, because there's an international break every other week apparently. So yeah, it is what it is, and the whole German thing as well. People saying, "Oh, do you really want a German coach?" Leading the line for England. Yeah, well, what I'll say today is it's not 1939 anymore, 1945 even. There are biggest rivals, I guess. Historically, but I don't think it's our most intense rivalry. I think there's much more rivalry with Argentina, for example. I feel more heated against Argentina than I do against Germany. Partly because Germany hasn't been that great of late, although they seem to have fixed their issues more. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I'm not too bothered about German national. It is if he's a good coach, then I don't care. And Tuchel's a good coach. If it had been a Pochettino, for example, I'd have been a bit more annoyed about it because I think Pochettino doesn't really have that much stuff on his resume to warrant him being an England national team coach. But Tuchel, for me, he's won everything, and obviously it's not working for him at club level right now. Why not try out? And he doesn't have to be there for very long. The next cycle is not too much longer. The World Cup's only, a year, just over a year or a couple of years away. Just under a couple of years away is what I'm trying to say. If he stays for that long, gets us deep into the World Cup, maybe, God forbid, even wins it, and winning it in the US would be absolutely amazing. And fair enough. He doesn't have to be there for too long. It is what it is. I'm quite excited about it, and the whole German thing doesn't bother me. The whole foreign coach thing doesn't bother me. It's 2024 now. Every top national team has had foreign coaches, so it is what it is. We got to move on, and whenever England get a decent coach that is capable of coaching the national team, fair play. People saying Eddie Howe, he's not good enough to manage England. And I don't think there's anyone else there. I think there's a couple of youngsters, a couple of young coaches that are English that are doing really well. Maybe in 10, 15 years' time could go into the national team. But there's no one right now. There's no alternative right now. So, I'm really happy with it. Let me know what you think about him. Thomas Tuchel being the New England coach. Let me know what you think about the players as well. Do you think we have a chance to win the World Cup? Anyway, guys, that's my take on it. So take it easy, and I'll see you guys very soon. Adios.